Oh, welcome now, stock trades. This video is going to be quite different. We're not going to be talking about stocks. We're going to be talking about purpose. Okay. So, a while back, I gave a kind of a poll where, our subscribers can say, what do you want to talk about? And some folks said, hey, we want to talk about personal development, kind of like the mental state, right? So, it's 5 a.m. here in AZ, so it's a little bit early. And I wanted to pop this video out on live, so just it's easy for me to instead of having to edit and all that. So I wanted to go ahead and share the screen with you. Okay. Now normally I would have this on a PowerPoint presentation, but I think this is good for Word. Okay. So sometimes an entrepreneur, trader, a long-term investor, investor, real estate agent, a physician, a lawyer, whatever you do in this world, you have to always, I would feel like, go by these questions and ask these questions. And maybe you might want to ask them every day or write them down and always remind yourself whenever you feel lost. Okay. The thing that I've recognized most is that, you can have the best technology in the world. You can have the best ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where he's going, you're ultimately going to get lost. So you want to always ask, who you are. Who are you? Right. And I'm going to go through mine really quickly. And again, I don't have anything written down. This is just, coming from the heart. You have to always also ask what is my story? What is my story? It's a better way to put it. What is my story? What do I want to be known for? Right? Right. How do you want the world to see you? What are my core values? And lastly, what is the legacy I want to leave behind? All right. So you go through these questions because when you're trying to do something, right? No matter whatever it is, it's going to involve another human, right? It's going to undergo a transaction between X and Y, or A and B. Human A, soul A versus soul B. And in order to change this world, in order to develop, to do something, you're going to have to know who you are and understand essentially what others are going to perceive what you do after when you've done it. Essentially, what legacy are you going to what are you going to leave behind? You see, you can make the most money in the world, okay? You can have all the zeros in the world. But at the end of the day, what does it really mean when you're on your deathbed? A multimillionaire, uh, I'm sure he's worth more now. This was 10 years ago, longer. He gave me some advice. He said, you know, right now you may not have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time. When you get older like me, if you're lucky, you have a lot of money, but you don't have a lot of time. See how it's like reversed. Now, as you get older, that's like, yeah, of course, duh. But when you're young, you're like, whoa, yeah, right? So just in case, I do see some young people watching this video. So who are you? Like who you are. So who am I, right? Well, my name is Al. I um try to, I love, I'm the type of person that likes to fill in gaps. I love to see a issue in society, and I like to fix it and make people's lives better. That's why I'm pursuing a field in medicine. That's why I like neurosurgery. I see a problem. I have the necessary skills to go in there and fix it, right? So what is my story? Well, I started off with nothing, right? I'm first generation. My family did not or was not from this country, but all I don't know them that well, but I always know the love they had for the United States. Unfortunately, there's a lot of pain, in my story. I grew up with no family technically, and I was, had to raise myself. The school of hard knocks. But in the beginning, I thought it was a curse, but I realized it was a gift. Starting from the bottom is the best thing that you could do because you appreciate everything. I mean, everything, right? So coming from the bottom, I realized how people can be ignored. If you don't have money, people just don't think you exist. I mean, it's so terrible. It's like capitalistic society, but I feel like we should have a little bit of altruism and cultural competence. But when I had nothing, I felt like, you know, like hey, I'm over here, right? But I found something that I did have, which I was able to build on. I have the ability to take complex information and be able to break it down in just a simple way, right? Which is why, it pushed me to start my own tutoring business when I was a little literally when I was a little shit in high school, started tutoring. Uh, I was able um, to do all that at the same time. I was able to, I always had like a serving. I served Middle Eastern food and also hookah, right? A- And I had this ability just to, always wanting to help and give back. So I used that, and that pushed me to getting 3 degrees: a bachelor's in physiology, a bachelor's in science, in neuroscience and cognitive science, neurobiology, a bachelor's of art in sociology, master's in cellular and molecular medicine, and then now soon to be MD, a medical doctorate degree with a 25% completed master's in business administration. I picked those degrees strategically because I realized I had to catch up, right? Most folks, they grow up in families. The family teach, that they teach them, kind of catch them up on society, pop culture, and all. I knew nothing, right? I was a sponge with nothing in it. So I picked those strategically. Sociology in particular, people always say, "Why'd you pick that degree?" Because it's the whole left wokeism argument, right? I knew about all the things that we're talking about now. I studied them in 2014, 2015, 2016, right? And I feel like understanding both sides is something so critical, and it allows me to kind of make solutions to help both parties. So, what do I want to be known for, right? Well, taking all the pain and suffering that I endured, I essentially did my tutoring, and I started a lot of things to help. So I started this nonprofit that is still active to this date. Um, we have rescued over millions of pounds of fresh produce. In the beginning, we started literally from a small van, a small SUV, and we distributed produce to the homeless shelters, men's, women's, and children. We recently expanded, not recently, we expanded, like when I say recently, we expanded 4 years ago, and now we're servicing low income apartment complexes that are situated in food deserts. And when the pandemic hit, we served so many people, right? We give out healthy, fresh produce, 501c3. So, we try to do it like 70 pounds of fresh produce is crazy, right? So I want to be known for that physician that extended beyond the lab bench and patient bedside. You see, a lot of doctors, as they should be, they're so hammered with work in the patient bedside. But I feel like the new level of physician, the new future physician needs to engage with the population, with the community. You can't sit behind your white coat and think that you're going to be doing good, because the way the system is structured, you're only seeing patients that are literally either about to die or are too late into their disease course, that is very difficult to prevent disease. And it gets very difficult. Um, uh, but so I asked myself, how can I fix this? Like, how can I reach these people before they get these problems? Well, I mean, I went into low income communities, provided healthy, fresh produce. So those folks in the Hispanic population that have increased levels of single nucleotide polymorphisms that are associated with single, uh, you know, the high probability of epigenetic modifications to getting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and obesity. Well, maybe I can go ahead and provide them. That's a lot of science. My apologies. I am a scientist. Provide them this healthy produce to to maybe counteract this future diabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure. But then I thought to myself, I said, you know what? But that's just one part of the puzzle. What is the other part? The poor need money. The poor need to learn how to manage money, X, Y, and Z. So I said, you know what, man? I think people need to learn how this market works, how to actually value a company, how to find the intrinsic value. So we created this, right? And we created a one-stop shop where literally we break down how billionaires become billionaires. Okay. So how do you want the world to see you? Well, personally for me, I want them to see me as, the physician who future physician who not only cared for their patients, and but I want to be the person that, they're like, yeah, if this guy, if your cure was a grain in the sand of the moon, this guy would literally go, and it doesn't matter how far the cure is, would literally go to the moon and get you that grain to cure you, right? That's what I want to be known for. Absolutely no barriers will stop me from, if there's a solution, we're going to get to it, right? We're going to get to it. Um, One of my core values, honesty and communication. I think those two pillars are central in any relationship, whether that be marriage, or that be with your children or with your business colleagues. Um, what is a legacy I want to leave behind? Well, first off, I want to leave behind a legacy that says that, hey, America's, the American dream is still active. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I have flags behind me. I started from the bottom. If people look in my story, it's at allstocktrades.com. I have a little slip of it right there, but um, I started from the bottom. So sometimes we might get bogged down and we might get like stressed out throughout our day and throughout, like, we get stuck in the weeds. But always return back in here and always ask yourself, who are you? Like, what do you want to be? What is your story? What do you want to be known for? How do you want the world to see you? What are your core values, and what is the legacy you want to leave behind? What is your mission? What is your core mission? And sadly, if it's not helping others, please unsubscribe. I'm just kidding. No, if it's not helping others, we can work on that, right? But understand something, okay? Um, it No matter how much money you get, you can't take it with you. You know what a hearse is? A hearse is that, I don't know if people still use it. It's that car that basically carries dead people with, a coffin. There's a saying that Denzel Washington said. He said that you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse, right? He said you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. All this material possession means nothing, man. Okay? What means the most is how you treated the person next to you. What impact did you leave behind for the next generation to be able to take that to move forward? And what is forward? Well, making sure, people have quality education, a quality healthcare insurance, having a roof over their head, being able to eat healthy, being able to at least have an opportunity to get the good things in life, experience what other people experience, like Disneyland and all these things, be able to see what a beautiful beach looks like or smell a, you get the point, right? So this is quite different, right, than my normal videos. Uh, I always talk about intrinsic value. We get into the detail, but again, there's places for that, and there's also places for this. And you can't be a good investor and essentially hold stocks, especially when they go down, because you don't have conviction. I personally think conviction starts with understanding who you are. So you're confident in your conviction. Okay. It's all mindset. Honestly, I feel like half of the game, if not more, is mindset. There are people out there in 2020 that did so damn good. They bought stocks, they did good, and all of a sudden they're about to retire closely, and then they just sold their stocks when the market crashed in 2020. And then all of a sudden they rebounded and they lost it all because they sold at a loss and they didn't get back because they think the market was going to crash. Hopefully they can get back in now. If not, they probably bought at a high. Now it's back down, right? So you got to know who you are. Okay. What is your story? What do you want to accomplish in this world? Now, in the beginning, there's something called Maslow's hierarchy. Okay, this is some science here. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. In the beginning in life, in the beginning, depending where you are, what I'm saying right now doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you're on the if I were to tell myself this when I was at rock bottom, I would say, what the F is this guy talking about? Right? Because I was trying to look for water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and not so much of this, right? Because you can't get much of this if you don't get you don't have a lot of this, right? You know what I mean? So safety needs, you know, personal security, you got to have a roof over your head, employment, resources, your health. That's why you got to take care of your health, property, right? Love and belonging, friendship, family, a sense of connection, esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, but the highest one, self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. An area that most people don't get to. But I hope in this channel we'll be able to push you up there. Sitting at work, listening to you, hoping to get out of this line of work. And there is a way out. There always is. There always is a way out. And we're going to be talking about, and everything that I'm mentioning to you guys, it's not like I was born with this information. It's life experience. I went through fucking hell. God, you know what I mean? I wish not no one, but unfortunately, the world we live in, people get greedy. You got to work hard, right? But there's books as well that I read. So many books in my mind. I'm going to be able to give you guys, so you guys don't have to like spend time reading them. So it shortens your kind of learning. So the learning curve, and we'll get you up here hopefully. the self-actualization. Once you get to this, man, you start seeing the world at a different place. You start looking at other people, you start looking at Hollywood, you're like, "Man, people are lost." You start seeing everyone literally kill themselves for a dollar. And it's just it's not about that. Once you get all this, you realize you're like, "Wait a minute. What the hell was I doing?" Right? If you're down here, what I'm saying doesn't make sense, but it's okay. I'm introducing it to you, right? So you see it, okay? Um, yeah, so I hope that this was really helpful. We're gonna do more of this. Um, Again, this is a stock market channel, but again, um, I was at Mayo Clinic, top 1 hospital in the world, and the first thing, a world-renowned physician, he's a neurosurgeon, Dr. Kendall Lee, he told me something. The first, I was like, out of all the things he could have tested me on, he taught me this, and I found a parallel. Even like Steph Curry. Steph Curry said this earlier. I was like, holy crap, everyone has this mind, body, spirit, and uh, um, emotion. Mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And then we start getting into the, Hinduism and all these things, and you know, uh, and but this is it. This is a nice one here. Okay, body, mind, emotion, spirit. Listen, you got to feed these. You got to work out. You got to make sure your body's strong. Your mind, you got to read. You got to make sure your mind is strong. And if you are religious, you have to pray and you have to do your thing to get that spirit up, to get that faith, right? And then sometimes you have to cry. You have to, you need to go through these, okay? you know and these are kind of better examples, exercise, problem solving, challenge yourself, which is what we do in the mastering. So if you guys feel challenged in the mastering or in the stock alerts, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm trying to feed your mind and challenge you, and sometimes we might challenge you in the emotion too, learning about emotional intelligence and how to work with other people, right? But I can't work on the body, right? I need to work on my body, right? I got to work out. This is the pillar. If one breaks, you're done. You're done. You got diseases. You got X, Y, and Z. Okay. You got to focus on your health. Okay. So meditate. All right. I'll show you some good meditation stuff too. Cheers to you as well. Good morning. So I hope this was helpful. It's kind of a curveball. You're like, wait, what? But I did take a poll. I remember back in a couple months ago, and you said, you guys want some of this, and yeah, I hope this was helpful. Because I feel like you got to go through this to get at everything that we're talking about. I feel like this is a good start, right? All right, guys. God bless you. Happy hump day. I'm gonna go learn more about subepithelial humps on some kidney disease. But okay. Peace.